Right, it's time for the everything I painted this year video. And you know what? I think I've cracked it. I think I've ticked all the boxes of this year. So dominating the table is all the terrain I've done, which was my big goal for the year. And it looks pretty good. There's lots of stuff tucked away that I've got to really pad out and fill a table. And there's a road and some vehicles that I still have to do. But this will easily fill a table for even the most demanding skirmish games. And maybe even like approaching 2 tables when I get all the extra bits done. I'm still kind of going through and adding details to things because, well, let's go to the beginning. The first lot I did was this desert stuff. I'm really happy with this. It's very simple. I'm glad I put texture on all these things. Very practical terrain. Looks good. Got walls and stuff like that. Will happily for the table. And it was kind of enough for most games. But then I did this second lot, and this is all TC Combat FDM. This like they give it rating, and that first lot was like, ooh, that's quite simple beginner stuff. It's like, oh yeah, brilliant, put those kits together, absolutely phenomenal kits. These kits were a lot trickier, and it took me a long time to work through them. Lots of challenges with MDF just soaking up paint, not really knowing what I was doing brilliantly. Also, I assembled them and then painted them. And I would like, if you're going to do this thing where you have one kit that has multiple different colours in it, I would definitely recommend not doing that. And in fact, I've got another kit of the same style that I need to do, and I'm thinking, no, I'm going to dry assemble it and I'm going to spray it up properly and do all the bits separately and then assemble it and then do a step of airbrushing, because this was a lot of work. But anyway, to wind back, I'm still picking away at it. Insides have little bits of furniture, but not too much. I'm adding bits of graffiti here and there. I put a lot of effort into putting posters onto things and weathering and stuff like that. Just there's like, a bit of a story. You don't want to take away from the models too much, and it's kind of redundant when you've got such a huge board to add too many details. But just a few like signs, a few posters, things like that really add a lot. And it doesn't cost a lot just to print out some bits of paper and stick it on with some PVA. So yeah, big win in that front. I did also get my 3D printer building done. It was very last minute, but I'm very happy with it. I'm not sure this might be too heavy to transport. We'll see. There's no interior to this at the moment. But it does look really good, and it's a nice central thing that built the table's tile together, especially because these 2 styles of buildings are quite distinct, which is fine. It's kind of what I was going for. But either you kind of need to divide them across the road or something else. Like, you can't really mix them without it looking a bit odd, and this building is another way of me being able to do that. So that was my first kind of major goal for the year. The other one was the Deep Rock Kickstarter. That came a lot later than it should have. I'm really disappointed with the company because they really messed around the UK. And I get Brexit is a thing, and I didn't vote for it. But really messed around with shipping customs and how late the models came in. And also, honestly, a little bit disappointed with the quality of the models, because they're great for if you're not going to paint them. They come in big and chunky, but I had some warping, especially on my dwarves. So for shipping reasons and how late they came and model quality as well, I've got all the bugs done. I've not got all the dwarves yet to do. So I'm mostly there, and I'm honestly actually quite happy with these guys. It is a lot of models, and I think they look really great together as a big group. I think as individual pieces they're not the best. They're a bit kind of, it's a bit rank and file painty. But they kind of, I'm glad they stylistically look good together. Some of them glow in the dark as well, all the green bits glow in the dark, so that's very cool. And I do look forward to finishing the thing. I didn't pick up the second Kickstarter they've done because honestly, they were advertising it before I even got this one. It just felt a little bit cash grabby, which is a shame. But it's nice to have got a board game done, and I do kind of want to do more things like this, maybe with some high quality miniatures. my Infinity stuff's still ticking away. This year I've been playing like basically exclusively in person. I do want to get back into playing online, but it's just not been feasible this year. It's been a very busy year. I've been slowly picking away at my hack models still, and getting my kind of white, red, and blue down. I'm fairly happy with this, and in the new year there is the new hack box that I'm quite excited for reinforcement stuff, which is nice. But the big thing I'm considering for this force at the moment, as well as the other half of it that's in there, is I'm considering changing the bases. I really like the colour in these bases, and I actually commented that in my last end of year video. But the problem is they're MDF from America, so you have to pay big import on them. And I bought one and got through them all, and then I bought two more and got through all of those. And I'm just getting to a point where it's like, well, I could buy like, you know, three more and pay the big shipping on that. But I'm honestly not mega on the detail on these. And the thing I'm considering is actually shifting over all my model spaces for my hack force, which is a big scary project. So that's kind of something I'm considering. The nice thing as well is like, as kind of I painted more and more of these guys, I've got better at doing the whites and blah blah blah. And I would like the opportunity to go back over some models and maybe touch them up, less like kind of do them again from scratch, maybe for a few of them, maybe strip them down and redo them. But for a lot of them, they could just use some touch-ups and a new base, and I think they would look good. For example, this is a really good example here. This is my kind of Kit Bash Shakush, which is like a big robot tag. And like, he's pretty good. He needs kind of some matte varnish on there because he's a bit too shiny. And the kind of blue effect I was going for kind of worked, but not super. But I think it'll be very easy for me to like strip him off his base, redo this section, maybe a bit of a different colour, put some matte varnish on him, and he'll be great, and I'll be really happy with him again. Other than that, I'm kind of looked into proxies a lot this year for things that I don't have. We finally got Yara, which is funny, and I've done a few of the other characters as well, and I've got some of the old Gulam, but these are kind of all proxy models here, these 5, which is nice. I've got a couple of Aristeia characters I'm using for an Azawira and just a Gulam, and then I used him for an event, not as a Yuan Yuan, but as a Nadir, which was cool. And these guys I've been using for only once or twice for reinforcements, which will be replaced in the new year. But I'm really happy to have painted them because they're some of my favourite models with the little dot helmet stuff. Really nice. We'll skip over the middle for now and go over to my other Infinity stuff while I'm talking about it. Yeah, I think I said at the end of last year, I'll do half a dozen more Steel Phalanx models, and it's close to a dozen now. That's because some of them were generously donated to me, and there's a set here of models that are also used in Aristeia that I'll talk about in a minute. But other than that, it's you know, just a few more, the new packs that come out, a couple of extra characters, things like that. And I've got like maybe 4 or 5 games in with them now, and I'm really bad at them. I'm shockingly bad at playing them, and I definitely need more practice. There's part of me that is very tempted to expand on this and go into vanilla or something, but I'm not. I don't think it's mega likely to happen. I think this is a really good experience for getting better at the game, and I'm very happy with the result. But I think I'm probably going to move on to a different army. I'm thinking probably Dash Hat with a side of IA, maybe, and I've started collecting bits and pieces for that in my backlog. So that's probably more likely to happen. But speaking of, I have been doing extra models because these are all from a board game called Aristeia, which is also made by Corvus Belli, and you can use the models for both. The example I have here is that this is Max, and his base, it's not going to play, is it, well, in one hand? Oh no, it's doing it. You can split off, and then he has 2 different base sizes for the different games, so that's nice. But I have nearly all of the Aristeia characters. I'm slowly working through them. These 4 are the ones that are kind of from at left, so I've done them in my left scheme so they match the army. And same here, these two characters are from Hack, so I've got them for that. And I've got another 4 or 5 characters here as well that I've slowly been working through. So that's kind of my next board game is the Corvus Belli Aristea one, which I'm slowly kind of assembling. I've got some terrain for that as well, and like lots of fairly medium quality miniatures to go through for that. So I'm not worrying too much about painting it perfectly, but it's nice to be able to paint a miniature and have 2 opportunities to play it. It's a passive thing, and I'm not pushing myself to really complete it mega quickly. It's more like one of those, I always have something to paint now, and it was fairly cheap to get into. Finally wrapping up like the kind of Corvus Belli sphere, I've done kind of quite a few mercenaries. I've got McMurdo now, who has a custom sculpted HUD. One of my probably favourite models of the year. Very happy with him. My tartan isn't great, but like it's good enough. I'm very happy with the HUD. I've got this is probably the last model I painted this year, Druid's Killer Hacker, who, this is quite a rare model as well. Bit nerve-wracking to paint, but very happy with that hair and the colours that come off that. Really happy with them. This is just a little helper bot to go with Fiddler, which is nice because I have a spare Fiddler because she's also an Aristea character. So that's cool. I've got a few little bits and pieces of models from events, which is cool as well. The Sheffield events are excellent, and I really want to go to more of them because they always have some really cool prize support and general like goodie bags of stuff. Some really cool smoke tokens and things like that. And I've been painting up those passively. I rebased my Liberto and bought a second one and painted them up to try and match. One of them is a bit brighter than the other, which is annoying, but these water bases are really good. I'm really happy with them. They really stand out on the table and really fit their characters. And oh yeah, at the end of last year I was talking about printing these boxes to match my Iceland deck book. And they've gone okay. Whenever there's white flat paneling, I really struggle. This one's not too bad actually on camera, but some of them are not as good. And I really think as part of my rebasing effort for the new year, if I do it, I'm like 60% confident I will. I want to print some new ones of these and repaint them and get them done properly. So yeah, that's kind of my Infinity stuff. Kind of very wrapped up in a lot of ways, apart from new releases and maybe starting something new. So I'm hoping we'll get into Dashat when we get a new Rushi. We'll see what that looks like. Finally, the probably like best thing I painted in the year outside of some individual kind of Infinity models and maybe some details in some of the terrain. My Turnip Army. Now, this I talked about at the end of last year. I wanted to do another skirmish game. This is more of a rank and file game, and it is a lot of models for my standard at least. There's like 2 full units of like 12 guys. There's like some monsters and things like that. But I've not got this to the table yet, and I didn't really care about getting to the table either. I just kind of wanted to do something different. Nice actually to work in plastic for a bit. I think especially for this kitbashy stuff, it benefits a lot from it. If you're doing a lot of custom sculpting, it really makes sense for the kits to be plastic. And also, Perry miniatures are so cheap. Like, it is an absolute joy to get so much stuff, especially when other manufacturers like produce the same quality plastic, if in more kind of dynamic themes for like 3 times the price. Yeah, I want to do more stuff like this, but I'm kind of limited by who will actually play with me. But that's fine. I especially enjoyed the fact that this model, outside of the helmet here, is basically completely custom. Like, it's all custom sculpting, bits of stick and clay, and it was a joy posting them and people like really getting what the inspiration was behind them, the kind of stilt walkers in kind of the marsh, that sort of thing as well. And as kind of far as projects go, like it was absolutely like I planned it out and it went almost flawlessly. I think the only model that I'm really I'm not certain about this leader here. He's all right. He's kind of got a lot going for him, and is a little bit bright in places. But apart from that, like, all the painting went perfectly. All the kind of like assembly was great. Everything turned out how I wanted it to. The water bases, you have to kind of do them one at a time, which is a bit of a pain when you've got this many to do. But honestly, they're the kit. Like, you know, we curse the name of Green Stuff World, but the kit Green Stuff World gave me for this was the only reason why I could get through this. So I guess that's fine. I guess miniature products work. But yeah, really, really happy I did this. One of those things that sits on my shelf that I'm genuinely really proud of having made, and will probably continue to sit on my shelf for a while. I mean, they have magnets in the bottom, all of them, so you know I could take them to something. And there's an event next year that I'm looking at and going, ooh, should I? But ultimately, like, it is really nice to build something and it be unique and your own, and it like tie into a general art aesthetic that, like, you know, people are building towards, but it kind of more being an art project than kind of a project for a game necessarily, which is nice. So yeah, that's everything, and it's quite a lot despite how busy this year's been for me. What do I want to do next year? So there's bits and pieces of terrain I need to finish off. There's rebasing that I might do. There's the rest of the Aristair stuff that I'm not putting in stone. That's kind of more of a project to pick away at. I guess I want to start wrapping some of these larger projects off. Like, I want to say I'm done with the table for a while. I want to say, once I've got this new lot of hack stuff, that I'm done with that army for a while, outside of like touch-ups. I'm going to say the same goal I always set, which is try another skirmish game, paint some new models from that. That might be Bushido, it might be something else. I might do one of the Kitbashi, like Tonks or something like that instead. We'll see. Yeah, and maybe paint up my stuff at Deshat. We'll see. But yeah, it's been good. It's been all right. And once again, thank you for indulging me. These videos are for me, but if you follow along, do appreciate it. Have a good year.